Dice Company contains fantasy violence, mature themes, and unapologetic bickering. No feelings were hurt in the making of it, but listener discretion is advised. Dice Company will always be free, but it's not free to make. Please consider supporting us on Patreon or Apple Podcasts and get access to our weekly roundtable show Extra Roll. Just follow any of the links in the show notes for this chapter.
Welcome one and all to Dice Company The Ungovernables, Chapter 2, where a different group of friends weave tales of glory, success and misery under the guise of playing Dungeons and Dragons. My name is Tom and I'll be your DM for the continuing adventures of this group of fake Finnish arena fighters. Fake Finnish arena fighters, please introduce yourselves and tell us one fun fact about your characters.
Hi, I'm Scott and I'm playing Bardal Schultz. One fun fact about Bardal this week is, having spent quite a lot of time recently with his turtle friend Rosie, she has encouraged him to temper his usual aggression and, let's say, tumultuous side of his personality and try and soften the edges. That is the rough dodecahedron that is Bardal Schultz. With that, he has been forced to think back on his younger life and before becoming a sailor and embarking on his attempt to become the one Bardal. He remembers a lost love, and it has softened him to think of other ways of spending his time and has taken to poetry in an attempt to express his emotional depth. He's not tremendously good at it at the moment, and a lot of his poems are quite harsh, sexual and or fighty, but he's attempting personal growth. It's another massive reason as to why he's so fond of Rosie, because she cares for him on the inside. But Bardal's trying. His up-and-coming book, Fight Fuck, is available for all poet fans in the Dice Company universe.
And disclaimer, no it isn't.
Amazing.
I don't want to follow that.
Oh my God. So poetry, nice. Burgeoning relationship with Rosie, big fan, like that.
At least to remember her name.
That is important.
Hi, my name's Mickey and I play Shaq. Fun fact about Shaq is, while he believes he's wearing flamboyant clothes with his purple and striking luminescent green trim, he wears it to impress people. However, in actual fact, he doesn't hold any desires to look good in clothing. Shaq's favourite fashion sense is actually scars, and he loves the practice of scarification because in his eyes, that's the sign of beauty and identity. He only wears the clothing that he wears because it was his mother who gave them to him.
Wow.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Worried about following me, cad.
Yeah, it's absolutely knocked it out of the park. Scarification. So presumably his recent kind of capture and has kind of improved his own levels of his own beauty.
Exactly.
I'm also pleased to know that Bardal's few little slices in the vat have made their way into the tapestry that is Shaq.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's right. Every scar tells a story, and that is the beauty of a barbarian, because we only believe in our primal existence, and that is all based on our rage.
I like it.
Everyone's got to cut him a few times.
Yeah. At least once or twice.
Shaq will tell you stories to his grandkids. He will. This one I got from Bardal. This one was from Knight. This one was from Curious. Tell the stories, baby.
Hi, I'm Mark and I'm playing Knight. And his fun fact is that he has had colossal anger management issues in the past, which caused his organization the occasional issue. He originally tried to manage it through meditation, but that wasn't working so well. So Rook and Bishop from his organization encouraged him to work with a therapist who encouraged him to write his angry thoughts down in a diary. And here's the latest excerpt from the diary. Dear diary, it's been a while since I last wrote to you. 4 days, in fact, since the incident with the noble, the ferret, and the cheese grater. But I find myself needing to now. It started with Rook and Bishop asking if I would bear a letter to a troublemaker named Bardal Schultz, to which I stupidly agreed. Then they added on that I would need to be his babysitter. I went to the North End, and there he was, a prancing peacock surrounded by sycophants. I presented the letter, and he insulted my clothes. It was all I could do not to punch his teeth out the back of his throat. I did my breathing, I bit my tongue, and I used the vision exercises you taught me. I pictured tearing his head off and using it as a novelty fruit bowl. I mean, this is no Batistusta's bargain rail garb. This is bespoke Papan. But Schultz does seem pretty obsessed with clothes. I might need to pay that little old tailor Jean-Pierre a visit and explain to him firmly how I would feel about being cheated.
Absolutely wonderful.
Very good. Yeah, I like that. Brilliant.
Is he a monk
Outrageously good.
or is he just poor? No, he's very angry.
Jean-Pierre Papin is such an awesome deep cut as well.
Yeah, love it.
Amazing.
Lord.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm playing Egbert. Probably the most interesting thing that you need to know about Egbert is the origin of his name. It's quite harrowing. His mother died at birth while giving birth to him, and her final words were of her passing myself to the nurse, and in her dying breath said, "Please call him Egg." And then she passed.
Then she died. I wanted to call him Egg, but
And then died.
because the thing is, she's supposed to be saying, I want to be calling him Egg, but my mum wants me to call him William or something like that. But it comes down, I want to call him Egg, but...
My name's Sai. I am playing Kyrios, a tiefling rogue. Kyrios hates the fact that he is a tiefling. You will often find him shaving down his horns to try and look a little bit more human. However, one thing that he cannot get away from is the fact that he has got hooved claws. What happened was Kyrios saved up some money because he is a very sneaky fella, and he has now got a set of very bespoke leather-made hoof shoes which allow him to sneak through and emphasize his stealth.
I need to know what hoof shoes look like.
Hoof shoes, ladies and gentlemen. Hoof shoes.
And that is law. Official. Write it down. Canon. Done.
I was going to say leather horseshoes, but everybody knows horseshoes as the little U-shaped steel things. So hoof shoes.
Does he just have one pair of hoof shoes?
He's got the hoof shoe high tops. He's got the low tops for tennis. But they negate the clippity clop that may happen.
I'm just going to make a quick note of that. Must include clippity clop at some point. Before we begin, don't forget to check out our Discord community for the chance to chat to some awesome people. If you'd like to support the show, go to our Patreon. Check out episode 8 of the Tales of Kael'Vala. And remember, if you'd like to own some of your own merchandise, visit dicecompanypodcast.com, which includes the popular Lore, and I find this to be acceptable t-shirts, and links to the amazing Shelby Cat dice. In fact, links for all of this are in the show notes of this episode.
Merchandise?
There's merchandise?
Oh, what? Merchandise?
Don't forget.
Oh, I'm on the website now.
Just as awful as the other guys. It's insane. I don't understand.
Remember not to forget about the merchandise.
It is very nice merchandise. I am wearing it right now.
You are wearing one of our bestsellers, the Lore t-shirt.
And I am about to purchase the Augustus Benny van der Top t-shirt in black.
There are names. Very nice. With that all out of the way, let's turn the page on the next chapter of The Ungovernables in this week's Dice Company. Previously on Dice Company, the new Ungovernables, Bardal Schultz, Egg and Rosalind, recruited Curious Midnight to help them with a job to alleviate the empire of the legendary Altar of the Wests. While enjoying themselves in a local tavern, they were approached by Knight, a member of a local gang known as the King's Gambit. He bore a letter explaining that if Bardal and friends were able to release a captured orc barbarian from his servitude, at the hands of the Blackwater gang, they would pass him the location of the altar. Heading to the arena for the finals of the Iron Fist tournament, the Ungovernables convinced the barbarian Shaq, formerly of the 13th Company of the 9th Legion, to take a dive. A fight with the Blackwaters ensued, which they won handily, leaving them free to continue their search for the altar. You guys head out of the arena with the crowd chanting your name, Knight. As you exit, a urchin runs up to you with a letter and hands it to you. This is a common occurrence for someone like you. You have urchins all over the place who are constantly delivering you information.
Okay, so I open the letter.
The letter gives instructions on the location of the Altar of the West and some information about it. So the Altar of the West was discovered in the watery depths off the cliffs near the town of Rochester. It has been moved through River City and is now in storage in a high-security warehouse belonging to the Shadow Vanguard Aleriac. You know exactly where this location is, maybe 20 minutes walk from where you currently are. The end of the letter advises you to pass the information on to Bardal, as he has upheld his end of the bargain, and to continue to assist him in relieving the altar from the Empire.
Might I suggest we get off the streets?
Why, yes, indeed. Don't you say you own cat houses all over this place? Well, pick one, the most discreet one. Find ourselves a nice room.
Isn't it a bit early for that?
Well, I'm just thinking of a nice, friendly abode in which for us to retire in and relax. The girls can look after us.
How about you follow me?
Yeah, well, after all, it's your town. I'm merely a visitor. Yes, make yourself useful. Snap, snap. Wonderful.
And I'd like to lead them to a really completely above-board tea house. It's the most boring place ever.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but yes, I like it.
Shaq would like to interject as you're going towards his tea house, because as far as he's concerned, you're taking him away from his great axe, which is what Bardal promised him.
Jack, old boy, tell me, before we go in here, we must chat. This axe of yours, where do we find it and where do we get it back?
My captors had it. I have no idea.
Most likely in their hideout, then. Do you know where their main hideout is in the city, Knight?
Yes. Yeah, they've got a couple.
Well, think of the one that you would say is their main one, and let's head in that direction.
Well, let's make sure we get it.
Fair. Would you like me to convey the contents of this letter I've received, or should we just go running off into the night?
As we are not a full team and able to take the Altar of the West until we have finished the contract in which I have bidden with our friend Shaq here, I think we should go and find his axe, and then sit down for a nice warm cup of tea or lapsang souchon or whatever it is you would like, and then we will discuss the Altar of the West. But until then, axes await, and you know where we're going, so after you.
Fair enough. And I will put the letter in my pocket and march off down the street.
So Knight leads you to the known headquarter location of the Blackwater Gang. It is an incredibly impressive 3-story townhouse. You would never know it belonged to a gang. In any other city, gangs are in kind of dark and dingy hideouts. But this is front and center in one of the nicest areas in the entire city. You're surrounded by people of great wealth, dressed magnificently in clothes from Batistutas, and you get more than one cursory glance from passers-by as they look at the kind of bloody, raggedy-looking group of people who are walking.
Not our usual environment, gentlemen, but be yourselves. So, Shaq, and Knight, that one over there, is it? Let's go and rat-a-tat-tat on the old oak and see if we can get this axe back for our friend Shaq, shall we? And Bardal strides towards the house, and when he gets to the door, raised his gauntlet in hand and ding, ding, ding on the old door.
Just so you know, guys, this is probably going to end in a fight. It's what Bardal does.
After a few moments, you hear footsteps walking up a mosaicked floor, and the door opens with a creak. Behind it is an incredibly well-dressed man in a penguin suit with a bow tie. Yes?
Knight will kick the door really hard.
Here we go.
The well-dressed man falls backwards onto his backside. What are you doing? You know what this is?
Shaq just stands on his face.
Shaq, we need his mouth to be able to find something out. Maybe lower onto his chest a touch there. Old man, We're here for this large orc's axe. It's hidden in this house somewhere. Tell us where it is, and perhaps he won't squash your head like a melon. Shaq, just a bit lower on the chest, please.
You're making a terrible mistake. When the Blackwaters find out, they'll come for you.
That's if we don't come for them first. You have no idea who I am, young man. I'm the fucking Lizard King, as far as you are concerned. Where is the axe before I peel you like a banana?
Give me an intimidation check at advantage, please.
Jack loves this.
Right, so, intimidation. 22? I think that's a natural 20.
Okay, don't kill me, please. The axe you seek is in the living room. It's the first door on the right. It is mounted above the mantelpiece. Please just take it and leave.
Shaq, do pick him up.
Is there anybody in there waiting for us?
They're all at the arena at the moment.
Oh, well, rest assured, old boy, then. They're dead. So, Shaq, pick him up, won't you?
No.
Shaq just leans in and crushes whichever bone he's standing on.
Please give me an athletics check.
Delicious. Absolutely delicious.
You can have it at advantage. I think it's fair to say he's flanked.
I don't need to go into rage then, that's what that means.
Just while Mickey's working this out, Dom, would I know where, like, the head of this gang's, like, office is?
You wouldn't know. You've never been inside. The gangs, obviously, they usually maintain a kind of level of respect about headquarters. So you're a little bit out of your normal comfort zone here, but your gang is definitely bigger and very much at war with these guys.
I'd kind of like to go and look for an office or something to that effect.
Give me an investigation check. Mickey, what'd you roll?
Shaq rolled a 13 for his athletics check.
So you attempt to stamp down on this butler's chest. You slightly misjudge it and you end up stamping on his shoulder, which snaps, and you hear him scream.
Satisfied with that, Shaq just moves off and goes straight towards the room that the fellow underneath me was just talking about.
Bardal follows.
I'm going to stay with the doorman, so I was going to ask him a few questions. Now it's been squashed a bit.
Knight, what'd you roll?
12.
You find a large wooden locked door at the top of the stairs. The only reason you'd lock a door is if it had something valuable in it.
Young Squire.
Knight, you're at the top of the stairs. You guys can converse with one another. You can see each other. Just one of you's upstairs and the other one's downstairs.
I was just going to ask if he's any good at picking locks.
No, I could try and put my shoulder against it, though. That usually works with me.
My concern is if this is what I think it is, it could be trapped.
I don't think Sussex is something that any of the party members with you now is good at.
Okay. The fact that I am impatient, I'm going to kick the door really hard.
Yeah.
Cool. Give me an athletics check, please. Who knew athletics was going to be the go-to check?
21.
That's what we're good at.
That's a dirty 21.
With a high crescent kick, you smash your foot into the lock portion of the door and it just bursts wide open. Inside is an incredibly beautiful, richly decorated study. There are leather-bound tomes on both walls with a huge window at the back. There is a desk with a number of papers on top, quill, pot of ink, and obviously a huge desk with a number of drawers.
I'm going to call to Kyrios and ask if he'll help me search.
I will.
And I am going to look around the room. I'm not really all that interested in like riches, coins and stuff like that. Just intel on the gang, operations, anything to that sort of degree.
You give me an investigation check at advantage.
That's 13.
A quick scan with the help of Kyrios around the place. You don't find anything particularly incriminating. There's a number of low-level crimes and setups around the city that you are already aware of. The only thing of note you find is a ledger with a number of names of high-ranking members of the Blackwater gang, including the names of the high-up people who have, to this point, remained fairly mysterious since they arrived in town. The top two names on the list are Hugo Steppenwolf and Aloe Clearwater. You can make a note of that if you wish.
Place that in my pocket.
Shaq and Bardal, you are both in the living room. You step in and there's a number of sofas. There's a fire that is currently out. And there, above the mantelpiece, perfectly laid out, is Shaq's great axe.
Waddle raises his arm towards the mighty weapon above the fireplace and says to Shaq, "There you are. Your weapon awaits you, mighty warrior, and our agreement is complete.
Shaq looks at Bardal, gives him a nod, grabs his great axe, then turns back to him and says,
You have freed me. You have armed me. I don't need anything else from this point forth. But you held your word, and a debt is a debt. I will lean into whatever goodness I have in me and help you on your cause. But be known, I am looking for blood. I just want to fight. Point me in the right direction and I'll be your man.
Wonderful to hear, Master Orc. And fighting you will find, for we are looking for rough and tumble, and some skullduggery, and some general thievery, and thumbing the nose at the old Imperial. So yes, plenty of wet work to be had, big boy. Now let us go and enjoy ourselves somewhere. I believe that rather poorly clad gentleman said something about a tea. Would you care to join me?
Tea? I'd love a cup of tea, but I'd rather a cup of coffee. Do they have coffee on this world?
Coffee does not exist in this world.
They do where I'm from, big boy, but certainly not around here.
I'll tell you what, how about a bushel of apples? Can you get me that?
Well, let's see. I'm sure there's a market around here somewhere. To the tea house. Knight?
I embrace Bardal, putting my hand over his shoulder as I lumpingly tower over him and let him lead me out of the room.
And Knight and Curious both join you in the living room, and you're all together. Knight, happy to lead them to the tea house? Back to the tea house?
Indeed.
Just before we go, what do we want to do with this guy on the floor here? Just leave him here so he can tell the Blackwaters what happened, or...?
Leave him, Egg. How else do you think they're going to sing the song of Bardal Schultz if there's no one around to sell the story, eh? So, let him tell his higher-ups. Fuck him. It's our town now, anyway.
I feel like you'll get the word out there anyway, Bardal, but yeah, we're off, mate.
Good boy.
You guys make your way to Timmons Tea House. You order a round for one another, and you look a little bit out of place, if we're honest with each other. There's a lot of kind of couples there, and everyone is very quietly sipping tea, and a lot of them are reading books or parchments or papers. And then you come in, caked in blood, carrying, like, armed to the teeth.
So when we get in there, Knight's just going to say, we'll take a room, hoping that they've got like a back room, private area for private people.
The goblin behind the counter, yep, no problem, head out the back, gives you a nod.
I must say, Knight, this isn't my usual type of haunt. I much preferred the cat house idea, much more relaxing, baths, massages, what have you. Really? Back room of a tea house? Better be tasty drinks.
I don't know, Bardal. Them cakes look nice.
True, Egg. Patisserie, indeed. Well, why not?
I think I see a jam scone over there.
You do, and a number of sticky buns as well.
Ooh.
My good man, a round of patisseries for the back room, thank you.
No problem.
Can we have the goblin ask for his name and write it on his cup?
What name?
Bardal Schultz, young man. Know it, write it. I'll sign the cup for you after.
Larry Sanders, coming up. So with a selection of patisseries, jam scones, sticky buns, some lapsang souchong tea, you guys sit around the back table. Knight, you are holding the letter.
Which I will produce and hand to Bardal because it's for him.
Bardal will read. So, your little organisation are pretty handy, eh, Knight? Always nice to have this little stream of intelligence pouring in. So yes, you know where this warehouse is, eh?
According to the letter, yes.
Good. Do you know anything about its usual level of security?
It's Empire, so you can imagine. Pretty tough.
I think we might have a bit of a recce of this place. I know. Perhaps you and Curious might take a wander out, walk the perimeter, see what you think.
I know a few vantage spots in the area we can get a good view.
Oh.
More than happy to have a look, mate.
Marvellous. Okay, boys, so we know what we're going to do. Curious, Knight, have a little look at the warehouse, and the rest of us will go and see the Dread Pirate Plex and bring the boat to you. But in the meantime, Curious, why don't you do that little psychic ears thing, and we can have a little natter on the way, eh?
Psionic whispers, mate, not the ears. I could do that. I'll cast it. We can all communicate. We'll all be able to chat. It'll be golden.
Marvellous.
Makes me useful.
See, Egg? What did I tell you? Handy.
Fair enough. You got an eye for these things, Bardal, obviously.
Of course.
So I will cast Psionic Whispers on all of the party once again. So I can communicate to everybody. They can only communicate back to me, which means that I have to be the middleman and relay the conversation.
Then we'll maybe get back together, have a chat, figure out if we might need some more supplies, and then, yes. But I think roughly it will boil down to the front door and kill everyone inside and just take the altar. But if we can find an interesting route, I'm all open to all ears. But I usually go with the same idea every time until it doesn't work anymore, and it hasn't not worked for quite some time. So let's say that's plan A, and see if you and the old tiefling fellow can come up with a tasty plan B, what? Curious?
Sounds good to me.
Marvellous.
Having figured out a plan together, you all depart from the tea house in two directions, with Curious and Knight heading to scout the warehouse, and Bardal, Egg, and Shack heading towards the Sentry Hawk. Knight leads Curious through the streets of River City. It is late afternoon, and you head in the direction of the warehouse to go scout it out. Can I have a couple of stealth checks, please?
Knight rolled a 17.
Curious rolls an 18 for stealth.
As you head there, the streets are pretty busy. There's a lot of boatmen around the docks area lifting crates and barrels and all sorts of goods from far-off lands like Bad Sakingdon and Belvandir. Knight, you use your knowledge of the back alleys of the dock area in order to get close to the warehouse, which is a huge, imposing, but bland building. It's made of wood. It's 30 to 40 feet high, but spreads out almost for half a block of the city. At the front are huge open double doors which lead into the main part of the warehouse. There are half a dozen bounders who are guarding the entrance, and they are making sure to check in and check out everyone who is bringing in goods and taking them out. As you peer through from a distance, you can see a secondary area of the warehouse behind the main section. There is one singular door, which is up the top of some steps. It's the only way to access it. So there's like, imagine like a tall set of steps that head up, and there's a singular door that leads to a back area. You would imagine this would be the likely location of anything valuable.
So all we need to do is run round the side and just go down the pier there.
Okay, is that what you want to do?
No, absolutely not. I'm not an idiot.
It's so straightforward.
Can we handle 6? We could probably get this job done ourselves, right? We just bring the casket back to the boys.
Certainly try.
Okay, well, I think we haven't really got anything to gain by watching. Like, if we came round there, could we get a better vantage point of the rear?
Certainly give it a go.
Yeah, I think we sneak down that, or not sneak actually, we should probably kind of walk bold as brass, shouldn't we? Down this pier here, see if we can, get onto this boat and have a little look across. So we can literally have a look from this building and see what we're dealing with at the rear of it. Because running up to the front door sounds like a bit of a silly idea.
Pretty efficient at dispatching people, but I don't want to cause any fracas that we don't need to do.
Well, this was supposed to be just a recce anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking we go round the back and just have a little look.
Okay. Would I know whose building that was, Dom?
Yep, so that belongs to the city itself, part of the governance who actually run the place, and it is a shipwrights. So that's where a lot of ships are built.
Yeah, I think we can blag our way in there.
Yeah.
I'll just pretend I'm showing you the city and I'm bringing you to the shipwrights to see their good work on behalf of the city.
I am going to use my forgery skill, and I'm going to forge a document that basically says that we are working for the council.
The parish council.
The parish council, and we need to have a look into the building for any structural damage because we've heard there has been subsidence.
We could also check the big sticks on all their ships.
We can look at the big sticks and the flappy bits.
And make sure that they're all okay. We're inspectors.
Yeah.
Bardal, Shack, and Egg, you are walking through the streets of River City heading towards the bridge, which takes you across the Great River in the direction of the Sentry Hawk. It's a nice sunny day, very busy, and the steep bridge that you walk over is populated with lots of people going about their daily lives.
Ah, is it not a wonder, Egg? The beautiful River City and its handsome and industrious people. What a pleasure it is.
It is a fine place. I bet you can do some good fishing on this river.
No doubt. I'm sure Plex has had the odd rod in all day and all night since he's been docked in the harbour, so we may get a little bit of a fish dinner from old Rosie this evening after our little caper. You never know. Shack, what do you find interesting about your surroundings now? Must be nicer than that damn cage you've been stuffed into the last couple of weeks, eh?
Oh, yeah, you're not wrong. Shack looking around very panicked, like wanting a bit of everything because he hasn't seen the day of light for the best part of over a fortnight. Right, where's the alehouse? Let's go drink. And he gives you both a happy-eyed look.
A fine idea, and one we would wholeheartedly jump into with both feet, Egg and I normally, Shack, but we do have a job to do at the moment, oh cheese, but once we're at the Sentry Hawk, I'm sure there's a barrel of ale lying around somewhere you can glug on while I chat to the dread pirate Plex. But we should be about our business for the moment, though, eh? And we will have our revels anon, old boy. For you, that means more drink and women.
Shack looks approvingly at Bardal. Okay, magician, I'm with you. Let's go for it. Shack looks around for a greengrocer, hoping to spot some juicy red apple.
Give me a perception check, please, Shack.
Shack hates the DM.
Harsh.
Well, it's almost like you know
Shack
my
suddenly
Achilles.
dies.
Don't get in the way of an orc and his food.
Shack rolls a 14.
As you're walking, while there is not a specific grocer's for you to pick up any fruit and vegetable, there is, on the side of the great bridge covering the Great River, a stall that is selling a very small selection of fruit, including juicy red apples.
As Shack walks up to the fruit seller, makes eye contact at the apples, gives the wink back to the fruit seller to let him know that some apples are about to be bought. He then takes his hat off, scoops up as many apples as he can into it, with a couple falling onto the floor, but Shack picks them up because he doesn't want to see waste. He then gives him, how much would it be generally? Just out of interest for...
You're looking at like 1 copper per apple.
Right. And then D12, Shack gives him 7 gold.
Can we stop trusting Shack with money, please?
The stall owner looks in slight suspicion of the orc, the massive, great hulking orc, who's just swept a load of apples into a hat. And it looks like he's maybe about to talk to you about it when you then give him 7 gold coins. He stands there with the coins in 2 hands, with his mouth open in shock, and he eventually manages to say, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Shack looks up and follows the magician.
And with a hatful of apples, Shack joins with Bardal and Egg as they reach the Sentry Hawk. It is currently bobbing gently on the river, and you spy the dread pirate Plex, who is currently stood atop the poop deck by the steering wheel.
Bardal gives him a casual wave as he approaches, but doesn't break step, continues to just roar up the gangplank of his newly acquired airship.
Hello, Bardal.
Ah, Plex, old boy. A pleasure to see you. And Bardal immediately embraces the automaton in a nice bear hug.
The automaton's hands kind of jerk and then pat.
Wonderful to see you.
It is good to see you too. Have you been successful in all of your dealings for the day?
So far. Oh boy, yes. Still got a few shenanigans left to play with, but yes, we're doing pretty well so far. Got the 2 slippery blokes over at the warehouse having a little peek about, and I think shortly we'll be joining them for some more full-bodied engagement, one would say.
I do not understand these words other than shenanigans. The great Bardal Schultz says, shenanigans make men great.
You are a good student, Plex. You will go far. How have you been faring in my absence?
I have been busy making sure that the Sentry Hawk is ready for quick departure in order to destroy Empire scum.
Ah, Couldn't have said it better myself, old boy. Ah, fills my heart to see you so, Plex. Well, I'm glad that your labours will not go unwanted, because we do need to depart. Fairly lickety-split, I would think. But we are waiting to hear from Knight and Kyrios on the whole affair, so I'll have a quick look around the ship, make sure everything's ship-shape, and maybe give Rosie a little hello, but be ready to go as soon as you can. By the way, this large gentleman here, pointing over to Shaq, is Shaq. He's the new member of the Ungovernables. Just so you know, Knight and Kyrios, also part of the band. Just realised that you hadn't met them before. You will soon. Kyrios is a red tiefling, very handsome and fine. Knight is a questionable-looking monk fellow who desperately needs a new wardrobe and seems to work for some organisation here in the city, but I like him very much, and Fists of Fury, you'll see them once we get to the warehouse, but very impressive. You should have seen him. He beat some Blackwater gentleman to an absolute bloody pulp. But apart from that, I think his judgment has been fairly sound so far. So anyway, I'm going to go and find Rosie, have a little look about the place. Egg, find a room for Shaq, won't you, and make the fellow at home.
Shaq would like to walk up to the gentleman, butting him with his top out of apples, look up and say, oh, would you like one? As he says that, he throws an apple into his mouth and just chomps it like a hippo chewing on a watermelon with juices and pips going everywhere.
Plex looks at the display that is happening and simply says, I do not need sustenance, but thank you and well met, friend of the great Bardal Schultz. So as you head towards the shipwrights, which is called E.M. Foreman's, you notice that there is a very officious-looking man in a pinstripe suit holding a clipboard and a quill. And he's talking to various people who are bringing in lumber and the like. And he spies you both, and you notice his eyes narrow.
Knight's going to point at him and say to Kyrios, this is the man you're looking for.
Okay, so Kyrios is going to stride up to the man with authority. And he's going to say, all right then, mate, you look like you're in charge of this gaff. We've got some documents here that says that we need to go in and we need to check this place. Can you let us through? And with that, he's going to pull out the forged documents and hopefully have him let us through.
The officious-looking man snatches the documents out of your hand and then pulls a little monocle out and begins to read closely. Yes, this all seems to be in order. You may enter.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate. I grab the documents back off him and stride past, looking like I know what I'm doing.
Give me a performance check.
Oh, God. Sometimes I just talk too much. 12?
As you enter to the sound, the cacophony of wood being sawn and hammered, you can see the skeletal beginnings of ships and boats in the huge area. It's on a raised platform on the jetty, and it's got an open side face to it that allows you to see directly towards the warehouse that you're currently scouting. A couple of the people working there give you a little glance, mainly curious, but most of them focus on their work.
I will look at the people glancing at me, and I will give them a little salute, as if to say, good job, boys. Keep it up.
Give me a persuasion check, please.
Oh, for God's sake. 14.
They give you a nod back.
So as we're moving through the building, I will be looking for a decent vantage point to get a view across, not something that me and Kyrios could stand in front of and have a conversation and look across the other side.
There is a movable ladder on wheels that a lot of the workmen use to kind of get up to high spots in the construction of the ships. That would give you the best possible vantage point of the warehouse because you'd be in an elevated position. They're wide, so you could fit 3 or 4 people up them, and all you would need to do is avoid drawing any attention.
So, yeah, I mean, Kyrios, we're just I'm gonna lead you towards the steps and just talk to you about what I'm seeing in the building.
Perfect.
So you can see over there, we've got some damp sections. We're going to need to look at that. And come up here. Let's look at this.
Oh, yeah.
And we ascend the stairs like we were born to ascend those stairs.
Yes, give me performance checks, both of you.
No, I rolled a 9.
That not good.
Oh, dear God. Here we go. Oh, 17.
The strange looks that Curious was getting are now transferred to Night. People are listening to his really, really budget performance of someone who knows what he's talking about. And were it not for Curious's exceptional role-playing ability in response, you would probably be raising alarms. However, Curious is convincing enough to allow you to get to the top of the ladder and look back across the water towards the warehouse. As you look at the warehouse, actually give me a perception check at advantage, one of you, please.
18.
You look back and unlike the front or the non-water side entrance to the warehouse, you notice that the bit you're now looking at is constructed from stone, obviously reinforced, tougher to get through than wood. There are no doors from that side. What did you roll for perception, sorry?
18, but my passive perception is 19, if that makes a difference.
It does make a difference. So while there is no entrance to the warehouse that you can see on street level, the water of the river is currently lower than it normally would be. And you notice some stone steps leading down, and there is a gated door that looks like it's probably usually submerged by water, but would take you underneath the warehouse.
What is the time of day, by the way? I meant to ask earlier.
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. So Curious, because you're the one... the one that people believe. How do you want to play this?
I'm going to head towards what Dommy just mentioned. Let's have a little look-see and see what happens.
How are we going to head towards it? It's on the other side, isn't it? It's like in the river. I think that would look really suspect to everybody. They're supposed to be checking out the warehouse. They just walked straight outside and jumped in a river.
Curious will turn to one of the workers and go, "We need to check this area here, mate. I think this is where the issue might be. Have you got a boat?"
You're asking if a boat builder has a boat.
I thought you were shipwrights.
He gestures to the entire large area that you're in which you are surrounded by boats.
I can see you've got boats, mate. They're very pretty boats. What I'm asking is, have you got a boat that we can use to get to this area here? Because this looks suspect.
He heads up the steps and looks where you're looking. Just a rowboat will do. You use one that's down by the docks.
So very much, fella. Curious is going to use psychic whispers, not ears, and just convey all the information to the group and say, "I think we're onto something here, lads. We might need you to start coming in soon." And we go to the rowboat.
Bardal, you receive a psychic ear from Curious.
It's a psychic whisper, for God's sake.
Hey, I'm talking to Bardal here. Peanut Gallery. Peanut Gallery! And he explains that they have discovered what appears to be a secret entrance underneath the warehouse, below what would normally be water level.
All right. As Bardal's walking through the bows of the ship and receives the psychic ear, he kind of like cat braces himself, walls and feet. Like, what the? Wasn't expecting that. Fine, good. Okay. So you kind of, I look up and see Rosie's shell just kind of go through a door into the galley at the front, but decide that time is of the essence, so I don't follow Rosie this time, and I head back upstairs towards towards Plex.
All right then, boys. We've seen something. It's basically beneath the waterline. It might take a few of us to kind of work our way through. There's a lot of eyes on us. I think we need the gang all here.
Very well. I will get Plex underway, and we'll be on our way shortly.
Tell him the rear of the building is stone and not a great entry point.
This croaky one has said that, the rear of the building is stone and not an entry point.
Right, so the rear is the water side, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it is.
Not a problem. Well, I figure we'll park a few piers down, jump off the old Century Hawk, run our way round to you, and we'll give Plex a little signal, I think, when we're ready to depart. But, see you shortly.
Perfect.
Shaq would like to look into his top hat and say to his apples,
Which one of you's talking to me? Which one? I don't know. And who's the other one?
and then he looks up at the magician very quizzically and carries on.
Ah, Plex, good. Just had a little chin wag with Curious in the old ear, and it seems they found something rather interesting. Think it might be worth
us bobbing over to the warehouse. If we could swing over, land by one of the piers, me and the boys will jump off and meet up with the other scallywags. And if you can then bounce a couple of piers down, just at the end of where the warehouse is, and just park there. Look like you've got a flat tire or something. And we'll be right we'll ride out, you know? We'll here's some bangs, la la la. I'll come out, give you some kind of a signal, I don't know. You'll know it when you see it. We'll come running and dive in, and then you can skedaddle with us. How does that sound?
But, Bardal, ships do not have wheels.
No, I suppose not. Broken big stick, I'm not really sure. Stuck rudder. You know what I mean.
Flex looks at the main stick. I think I understand, Bardal. Quick skedaddle.
Yes, exactly. Drop us off, sit casual, and then we will adios.
We are to sail rather than fly?
What's quicker in your estimation, old cheese?
Flying is far superior and quicker. However, it does draw attention from people of River City.
Yes, someone did mention that to me before, but flying is so much fun. Well, let's get underway anyway. Let's just float down the river, eh? Try and be a little bit incognito. Don't want to blow the skirt up before all the puddings happened.
Yine, Bardal.
Anyway, Plex, did I tell you about that time I was with that strange water nymph?
Yine, Bardal.
Ah.
But I do like hearing it, so please tell it again.
It was one Wednesday morning, I was in a swamp and...
Having parked the Sentry Hawk on a jetty, the three of you depart, say your goodbyes to Plex, and head in the direction of Curious and Knight. You find them walking along the river's edge, heading towards the stone steps leading down to the secret entrance. Curious appears to be carrying a rowing boat under his right arm. It's a very small rowing boat.
Not sure we need that, old man. Got some stairs here. Perhaps leave it, and if we get the chance to grab it on the way out, we'll throw it on the Sentry Hawk. But, strange. Maybe we need to have a discussion about what is considered booty from now on, eh, Curious?
Hey, it's not booty. I just didn't know how deep the water was. I'm a tiefling. I look at water, I just go. I've got hoof feet. I'm not great at swimming.
Oh, fair enough. I admire your industry anyway. But, how about pop it down for the minute and let's get down to that little grate, eh, before the old water starts coming up, hmm?
Well, that's my worry, mate. Tide comes in, I go down. Not a good mix.
Oh, no. Fear not. We'll hold on to you. Anyway, let's get on with it.
Someone give me a nature check, please.
God, who's going to be good at that?
No, I don't know.
I might be alright, actually. Let me check.
Not me.
I am neutral.
I am -1.
I've got a +2.
Ooh!
Lovely.
I had 3, I think.
Oh!
Wow.
I will assist.
Check out Mr. Smarty Pants.
I have a -3.
Bardal, please give me a nature check at advantage.
No, at advantage, it's...
I'm just going to do mine for giggles.
Well, at rolling at advantage, Bardal gets a 19.
Woo! You know that it's the height of summer and that it's unlikely that the river is going to rise because the temperature on the streets is so hot.
Well, anyway, I think we've got plenty of time to get down there, boys, but let's go and have a look at this grate and see if we can get it open, eh?
So you head down the stone steps.
Perception.
Yep, give me a perception check. What is it you're looking for?
Just looking to see how the gate is fastened, whether it's just like bars that are just embedded in the stone or whether it's got some kind of a hatch with a lock or whatever.
Yep, give me a perception check.
23.
Nice.
Rolling
What?
pots.
Oh, yeah.
You make your way down the stone steps and you find the gated door entrance to the underground, whatever it is. The door itself is not locked. There was a lock, but you can see it on the floor. It has been broken. There is moss covering all the walls. This has obviously been submerged for a long time, at least a year. You're thinking because of the tides and the current temperature that the water must rise and fall all the time. It has been at least a year until this has been breached. And the walls around it are quite moist at the moment. So it must have only just been not submerged. What's the opposite of submerged?
Just go with exposed.
Exposed.
Merged?
Yes, it's been merged. The opposite of submerged.
Okay. Does it look like the lock has been broken recently or that that's been there a while?
The chain with the lock on it is rusted, so it must have been there quite a while. On top of that, because your perception was so high, as you look on the inside, you notice that there are glyphs carved into some of the stones up towards the ceiling.
Ooh, can I, arcana check that?
You can give me an arcana check for sure.
Delicious. Anyone else know arcana?
Nope.
Two.
No chance.
Absolutely not.
Not a chance.
I punch hard.
No help from you monkeys then. Okay. Oh god, a 10.
You suck.
It's a language you don't understand. These are symbols. They are definitely magical. You know that, but you have no idea what language it is or what they mean.
You suck, Paul Daniels.
Bardal might be slightly concerned that walking over there might cause damage, but I might keep that to myself at the moment. Well, here we are, boys. That's a bit sloppy after all, leaving that like that. Anyway, easy way in, eh? Shaq, after you.
May Shaq just look up and see if it's Dwarven or anything like that?
I was going to ask.
Absolutely, yeah. If you guys want to give me your lists of languages that you know, so Shaq knows Dwarven.
Did I point out to anyone else that there was glyphs there, or did I keep that to myself?
I think it would be fairly obvious that you were looking. I think their passive perceptions would have seen you staring at glyphs on the ceiling.
Fair enough. Just checking.
But excellent teamwork. Well done. Good looking out for your team.
Well, you know.
I've got Infernal and I've got, I think, Undercommon. I can't quite find.
Okay, neither of them help. It's not Dwarven, I'm afraid, Shaq, and it's not Orcish.
Okay.
Either.
Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Halfling.
Exactly that.
None of those.
Elven, Dwarven, Common, Infernal.
I speak Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Gnomish. Well, anyway, let's go in here, try and keep it down a bit, and see what we can find out, eh? Remember, golden sarcophagus/altar is what we're looking for.
Has anyone got a familiar that they could walk over this before we just go walking over it?
Sadly not, old cheese. Bardal considers that fucking cheating.
Yes, Bardo!
Mr. Wizard.
I'm not a wizard, I'm just,
Fuck familiars.
I was just going to ask you if I could nick one of Shaq's apples and just throw it through there.
Shaq allows you, thinking that you want to eat one, but then is absolutely outraged that you just threw it.
The apple disappears into the darkness of the corridor. You hear it bobbling away.
Shaq follows it.
Yeah, Bardal follows Shaq and Egg.
Egg opens the gate to step through as Knight throws the apple, leading Shaq to charge in, and it becomes a bit of a push as Shaq and Egg desperately try to get into it with Bardal behind, and you make your way in to the tunnels. It is dark. It is musty. There is the drip, drip, drip of water. How many of you have dark vision?
Yep.
See,
Nay.
Sadly not.
Nay.
Oh dear, oh dear. To those who don't have dark vision, do you have any torches or light cantrip or any magic or ability at all?
I have a tinderbox and an explorer's pack. So yes, I have.
I have a torch.
Yeah, so I'd light a torch.
Me too.
The humans light their torches in order to be able to see almost as well as Shaq and Curious.
Just quickly, Shaq would like to, with his eyes fixed on the apple or the direction of where the apple went, barge through and knock Egg ever so slightly.
Easy, fella.
He doesn't care about light, he's just going for the apple.
Seems to really like apples, this fellow, Egg.
That is the most scariest bobbing for an apple I've ever seen. It used to be a nice party trick, but, you know.
He does attack it with certain ferocity, doesn't he? Let's hope he does all of everything like that. It might be useful, but let's not get between him and his apples, eh?
Well, I suggest not, no.
Bear in mind, Shaq is still holding his top hat like a bucket of popcorn full of apples. It's about a third lighter than it was when he first started.
Give me a dexterity saving throw, please, Shaq.
Ooh. Oh no, I'm not raging, so it has to be at normal.
Oh, you will be when you lose your apples.
Why? Why did you have to say that?
Why do you think you're doing a dexterity check?
Shaq, carrying your top hat like a bucket of popcorn, you are rushing after the single apple that has been thrown, and other ones kind of drop out. And you have to stop occasionally to kind of scoop them back up to put them in as you rush off after another one. You're walking for maybe, or kind of running in a crouch position for maybe 60 feet as it takes you down deeper. You find yourself heading in a sloped way down before coming to 2 broken double doors that lead to a corridor beyond. You can see through it. These doors have been smashed to bits.
Have I got all my apples?
You have all of your apples. You managed to find the one that was thrown as well.
I chomp on the one that was thrown because I don't want to put that back with the rest of the batch.
Smart.
And then I put the batch and my top hat on top of my head.
Okay.
Nice and firm, snug as a bug in a rug.
Mm-hmm.
And I turn to my comrade, Magician.
Magician, what is this? This looks like a grand entrance we should make. What is your thoughts?
Oh, it's a broken door, Shaq. Perhaps we'll just continue on our way through and see what's on the other side, right?
A bit perplexed by the simple answer, Shaq says,
So, well, okay.
and then just pops off his hat and starts eating another apple.
Do be ready for attack at any moment, though, boy. We are going into enemy territory from here on, but here we are. After you.
I was going to say, mate, this doesn't look good. We've had a lock that's been cut off the doors. We've got doors that have been smashed. We look like we are not walking down a path less trodden. We need to be careful.
Oh, I do agree with you, Curious. Yes, you're absolutely right. Sorry, I tend to get overzealous when towing into enemy territory. Can't wait to pull the blades. But yes, no, you are correct. There are signs here that perhaps people have trodden this step before. But did you not say there were 6 amigos outside the front? So it seems this is still a working warehouse. Perhaps this lower level has just been boarded off further up after a recent incursion from another band.
Rook did say there were other interested parties.
Well, perhaps we are not the only fox in the hen house, eh?
Indeed.
Well, the lock was broken a long time ago, so we can rule that out. Can we do a perception check to see how long ago these doors were broken, Dom?
You can certainly try. Give me an investigation check rather than perception check.
Bardal will help.
By the way, I can do that guidance thing you hate so much.
The rules of guidance are you have to explain how you are helping them with guidance. You can't just say, I give you guidance. You actually have to give them verbally the guidance.
I will pick up a piece of the wood and chew it and test the moisture and offer my findings to Egg.
Fantastic. You may add guidance bonus to your roll.
It's needed.
Oh God, what did you roll?
The wood tastes moist.
13.
The doors are quite moist. Very difficult to tell how long it's been. It hasn't been that recently. You certainly wouldn't put it within the last month, say. But any point beyond that, you can't really tell.
So it hasn't happened in the last couple of days. Fine. We're good, guys.
Right, boys, I know that I'm a new addition to this team. Do me a favour. Let me have a little bit of a stealthy step forward and just take one for the team, will you?
By all means. It's part of why you were brought on, Curious, after all. Yes, please. We'll hang out here. You have a little recce, eh?
Perfect. So Curious is going to attempt to go through and have a little recce. The reason why I'm doing this in a stealthy manner is because I've got plus 11 to stealth.
Wowza.
Well, that's a lot of bragging before you roll a dice. Give me a stealth check.
It's not great.
16.
Embarrassing.
I rolled a 5.
Curious moves quietly across the broken doors without making a sound. You guys are actually quite impressed, considering he's got hooved feet.
Remember, I've got the hoovy boots.
And you notice that his hooves have boots on them, which is quite weird, actually.
Odd.
But he disappears into the darkness beyond. After around 15 feet or so, you find yourself in a well-illuminated corridor. There is a single door at the end of the corridor to the right.
I assume, given the fact that I have made it this far, there are no traps or any form of issues. So I am going to use my, as Scotty calls them, psychic ears, and say, boys, I think we're all right. Just follow my steps. Let's go in. It's looking pretty light down here, and it's not just my dark vision.
Are you sure you should be calling them steps? Steps, not trots.
Yeah. Good.
Semantics eggs.
Happy to follow. Yeah, extinguish the torch on the way as well. Just snuff it out of the puddle or something.
The entire party heads into the corridor that is well lit. Knight, your passive perception alerts you to the same glyphs that you saw on the entrance are above the door at the end of the corridor on the right.
I will point this out to Bartle. More of your interesting glyphs.
Yes, still don't know what they bloody mean.
Are these ones any clearer?
Let's have a look. They might be slightly different. Let's have a little investigate. So yeah, I'm going to get up and have a little nosy about. Is that investigation or arcana?
Your choice. You can do investigation or arcana.
24.
These glyphs you can see much clearer than the ones by the shore on the entrance. They are ancient and they are magical. As you kind of study them, you realize you have heard of these before. These are Alokian glyphs. They are carved into places to prevent certain types of magic from being performed. Anywhere that is inscribed with Alokian glyphs, there can be no teleportation.
Okay, well, I will impart that level of information to the guys around. So if anyone who's capable of hopping about, might be a bit difficult, certainly in this tunnel anyway. Hopefully the inside hasn't been glyphed also, but don't know if it's a problem. Can I investigate to see if the door is open?
Yeah, you don't need to do an investigation. You try the handle of the door and it is locked.
Curious, any chance you could have a little wiggle with your stick in here and see if you can open this puppy up?
Of course, mate. I'm going to use thieves' tools.
Okay, give me a thieves' tools check.
Dom, while he's doing that, I will listen carefully to the other side of the door for any noises I might hear.
Okay.
I'm hungry. I'm going to ask Shaq for an apple.
Shaq willingly offers and shares.
Bartle would fancy an apple also, boy. It's been a while since I had something to eat.
Crack on.
Thank you, dear.
Yum, yum.
21.
As three of you tuck into apples, Knight listens at the door. Curious pulls out some thieves' tools, and in under a minute, you hear the click of the lock as the door is unlocked.
We're in, boys. Let's go.
Oh, well, mind if I take the first wiggle in?
Mate, after you.
Thank you terribly. Here we go. And Bartle strides through the door.
Kyrios is going to step behind him and cast Soul Knife just to make sure that he's armed, because this feels a little bit iffy.
So you step into the corridor. Ahead of you, ahead on the right is another door, and then there is a corridor that splits off to the left.
I think I can just see as I walk through that door, I think there's some steps just off to the distance.
Give me a perception check, please, Bartle.
18 for perception.
There is the eerie sound of a gust of wind blowing from the left-hand corridor. Very chilly. It's a little bit unnerving. And as you focus and listen closer, you catch something just in the corner of your eye. And as you look up to the ceiling, black tentacles stretch out towards you. And we will end it there.
We can't end it there.
The humans of Dice Company would like to thank the following sweethearts for their support: Darcy Thompson, Jenny the War Camel, Stephen Sikora, Nori Gosler, Mickey Arnold, Happy Daddy Scotty, Tika, SJ Phionics, Richard Ungermus, Rabbi Camel, Team Vander, Paris Pakar, Path Pursuit, Julia Zeno, Shovels, Mama Strange, Queenie, Liz Beckett, Axel Runholm, and Chris from North London.
A big thank you to the band Plainride for providing music for these episodes. Check them out on Spotify or Apple Music, wherever you listen to your music.
He's not allowed to. I was not allowed to unleash in that battle. God damn it! Had to dance and be the leader. I'm not saying that I'd take you easy, Mick. I'm not. But it would be a good fight between Bardo and Shaq.
We're gonna have a Rocky Apollo situation going on.
Ding ding.
You were the only one that caused any damage, and you come out winning the fight in the public eye. I don't know why you were bitter about it. Shaq's the only one that should be bitter about it.
Shaq didn't actually attack Bardo, did he? Actually, no, he did.
He got freedom. That's what he got. He got freedom. So where's the gratitude, eh?
This feels a lot like Thor and Star-Lord.
That's it.
We both know who's in charge.
Don't call Shaq Star-Lord, God damn it. That is so disrespectful.
You're the only one who's making that comparison.
Well, job, like moments when we might be needing to escape or whatever. So like,
what has happened to you?
I am just trying to help. Dom has forced this. Listen, man, when you're in my game or Dom's old game and it's free form and you get a short rest every day and a long rest every day, like you know, I can empty the clip, motherfucker. But like, 5 days is effectively a day now, you know. And I have to have resource economy now. I'm a wizard, baby. A wizardy thing. Curious, are you a kind of rogue that can like look for traps and stuff? So.
In a way, yes. So I've got no, I haven't got investigation. I haven't got perception.
In a way, yes, but in a very real way, no.
Theoretically, I can, but sadly, I'm both blind and ignorant. So,
lore.
Thanks for listening. Please consider supporting Dice Company on Patreon, where for the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to a whole other show, Extra Roll, as well as an ad-free listening experience. The Dice Company Discord server, along with our socials, can be found on our link tree in the show notes. If you enjoyed this chapter, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to recommend us to your friends. If you didn't like it, recommend us to your enemies. And we'll see you next time on Dice Company.